Okay guys, welcome back in this new and last video about how to approach the wildlife. Today I want to talk about equipment, camera, lenses and so on. This aspect of the nature and wildlife photography is really important because you have to choose the right equipment. Depending on your subject and the chosen stakeout, the right combination of camera and lenses is crucial. Inside a photographic blind, in my opinion, it's always better to use a tripod. Maybe with a gimbal head, in order to use even a single hand to shoot without worries about keeping the camera with hands and opening and closing the lock continuously. But even with a classic tripod and a ball head, it's good as well. So you can achieve a good result also with this kind of ball head. But let's crack on. I want to divide the question in 4 items: cameras, lenses, accessories and clothes. Let's speak about cameras. Personally, I'm using Sony cameras and lenses as well. About the camera, the best for animal, in my opinion, is the Sony A9, even because I've got one, with its really silent electronic shutter that allows you to shoot without any noise and without getting the animal in trouble. I made a short video about that camera, so if you're interested to see it, you can click in the link below, in the description below, or click in the link in the video. Anyway, the brand is not so important because almost every brand offer a lot of cameras devoted to wildlife and sport, of course, because they are together more or less. In my opinion, the main features that a wildlife camera should have are a quick and precise AF system, autofocus system, and high burst shooting mode and a silent mode. About the autofocus system, I think you have a reliable AF system is the main feature that a wildlife camera would have to. There is no point in 20 or 30 FPS if they are out of focus. I mean that with a good AF system, the camera follows properly your subject. Even in a strange situation, maybe when the animal is partially covered by something, maybe a tree or another animal, or is passing behind something like a tree. A good AF system must follow a subject even when it's coming in front of the camera or is leaving. In fact, when I had my old camera, the Sony A99 Mark II, but it was a very good camera in many ways, but not so much with the AF system, because sometimes I couldn't follow some animals, even in good light condition, and often I got out of focus images. A lot of, to be honest, and it was really frustrating. So before buying a new camera, try to understand how good is its AF system. I think it's one of the main feature you have to watch, you have to look for. Very well. Now that you have a camera with a good AF system, you have to have the speed. Now to have 20 FPS is good because it will allow you to choose the best shoot of the sequence. High burst shooting is essentially useful with animal in movement. Instead, if you are interested only in portrait pictures, any camera is good, maybe with a high-res sensor. So in that case, it's better having a big megapixel camera. The silent mode. This is a feature really important for me. Many times I lost good shots due to the shutter noise, mostly with the raptors that are more sensitive about the noise. So having a camera with an electronic shutter or really silent mode, usually in live view with DSLR cameras. It is one of the best features to not scare anyone. In the past I made some tests of a handmade system to reduce the noise of the shutter speed, and it worked quite well, but it's never like a real electronic shutter. If you are interested, I'll put the link in the description. Okay, now it's time to talk about lenses, or to be more precise, about telephoto lenses. Currently, I've got 3 telephoto lenses, and all the 300mm f2.8. It's an E-mount system, but I'm still using with an E-mount adapter with the Sony A9. Then I've got the 100-400 GM lens, very good, and the last lens is the 600mm G lens. The second one is really versatile, fast enough and pretty light to carry on everywhere. The 600mm is, for its price, very well done, with a fast autofocus motor and with a good quality image, even with a lower aperture. As I said in a previous episode, long telephoto lenses are more suitable with birds of prey, shy mammals, and why not reptiles. A prime telephoto lens has a better quality, of course, but if you can't afford one, it should be better to look for a telephoto zoom lens like mine. Now in the market there are many interesting zoom lenses that are really good, fast, and sometimes lightweight. A typical optical focal length is the 150-600mm that can be used in many different situations, even though usually they aren't really sharp at the maximum focal length. However, their flexibility is a must in wildlife photography. Sometimes they can be used with a teleconverter like the Sony 600mm. I'm using it with the 1.4 teleconverter, and the results are, in my opinion, pretty good. Of course, you have to check before if that lens that you want to buy accepts a teleconverter, because not only that kind of lenses accept one. An aspect to consider about big telephoto lens is the weight. Yes, they are pretty heavy in general, and likely you'll need a big bag to carry on those lenses. And if you have to walk a lot to reach your blind or the location or the spot, having a lot of weight on your shoulders is never a good choice. Or at least for me, I prefer having a lighter lens. In my case, every time I can, I take only the necessary stuff, leaving at home the useless stuff. With the experience, you'll understand what bring in every photographic session. But in some situation, you can also use a wide-angle lens, but in this case only in more controlled situation, and when you can hide the camera in some ways. This specific argument is really interesting. I've tried once with quite good result, but I'm not really convinced. I need to study more. But if you want to know something, leave me a comment in the comment section below, and I'll try to respond to you as best as possible. Okay, speaking about accessories, it's important, and we might talk for hours, but I think the most useful accessory is, of course, a tripod. It doesn't matter if it's in carbon, fiber, or in metal. The most important thing, in my opinion, is it must be sturdy. For long lenses, you need a good tripod with a payload at least twice of the weight of the camera plus the lens. And by the way of tripod, a good head ball or better a gimbal is the perfect solution for wildlife or for all situations where you don't need to move around like in a blind. Ball heads are usually cheaper not always, than a gimbal, and more flexible, but less specific. I've got a gimbal head that I use only for wildlife, due to its intrinsic weight of work, that allow me to balance only once my system, I mean camera and lens, and allowed me to use the system with only one hand, and for me it's really comfortable. On my website there is a review of my gimbal. It's a Photoseiki TB101 model. I'll put the link in the description, of course. But if you are interested in a video review, tell me that I'll try to make one. Instead, in another situation, might be better to use a monopod, just to be more lightweight and flexible. Maybe, for example, I use it for mammals and also for birds. When I have to walk a lot and I can't stay in the same place for a long time. So in that situation, I prefer using a monopod. Another useful accessory is the remote control. In many my videos, I tell always the same thing. The remote control is your friend. Despite the tripod and the gimbal, it's easy to shake the tripod and the lens, of course. Shooting manually, I mean pushing the shutter button of the camera, you can introduce some shaking of the system. Instead, using remote control, I'm sure to not move the camera and to have crispy images. The last accessory for me for wildlife photography is a lens cover, and sometimes a camera cover, but not so much, mostly when it's raining. Despite they say that almost every camera is water sealed, I prefer to use a protection to be more sure and safe. And not only for that reason, because, for example, my lens cover has a camouflage pattern, so make my lens less visible to the animals. It's always good with wildlife. Okay, a final but not least aspect is clothes. On winter, you should be aware that staying in a blind for many hours it could be really cold. So put on a really warm clothes, and don't forget gloves and a cap. Usually I use them when I use my photo blind, my homemade photo blind or the portable photo blind, always in winter. Also in summer it could be useful, maybe having a light jacket, often in damp days, to be more protected. Generally any kind of hiking clothes is perfect for wildlife photography. So you have a lot of choice for any pocket, or if you have love brands, you can use it without any problem. Okay, and also this time I have to say goodbye. As always, first of all, thanks for watching, and please leave me a comment about what do you think. Remember to respect always the nature. See you soon. Bye bye.